Hey everyone, welcome. And we had promised that we'd be back at 8 p.m. for the day after show here with yours truly, and Yavet will be joining shortly. I just have to say, episode 2 really kind of brought some things home, and Yavet's going to help me discuss them with you, and we're going to have a chance where, I gotta get closer to my phone so I can see when he calls, he puts in. So, there was, maybe I should just move my chair. It sucks. I need glasses, guys. So, the thing that really is grabbing me is that, I was right all along, but I'm not really so thrilled to hear that. I'm just more like understanding better why it is that I might have looked a certain way, because I was right about all of it. I didn't want to be, but I want to see how everyone else is reacting and what they're going through the day after. That's what this show is about, when these big eruptions happen with the cast. And I also want to know from you, what it feels like now to see this analogy and the comparison from somebody who was actually on the front lines. I think that was Yavet. I'm sorry, Yavet, I missed you again. Would you you can call, babe. Press that button again. I keep missing you. There you are. No, don't go away. No, that wasn't you. Okay. Of course I keep pressing the wrong one. Sorry, guys. So the thing that's really like grabbing a hold of me is that why so many years to finally be able to see them from this perspective? It can't be that, I'm the only one that's thinking this. I just think, we might be onto something here. For those of you who want to know what it feels like, to be, I hate to sound like I'm not a victim. I'm definitely not a victim, but I was victimized quite a bit and made to look like I was deserving it, when there's no part of me that's like that. And it takes a lot to get me to that point, but I get frustrated, and I usually can call people out on their bullshit, and I can do so very quickly, which is what happened in the original seasons. I think it was just really frustrating for, Caroline to feel like she's been the matriarch, like a big shot all this time amongst all of them. And here I am, the same exact age as her, and I'm not allowing her to dictate to me how this show is going to go. But had I listened, I might have had an easier time on the show. Because, we should get to that another time, definitely. But back to season 11, episode 2. I'm gut-wrenched about the whole thing. Like, the involvement of the children is one thing, but also tearing at a relationship, a marriage. And this is somebody, Teresa's somebody that has said things and accused me of doing the things that she's doing right now. And I just don't know how to point that out without sounding like the obvious is true. She's just either not the sharpest tool in the shed, or she just doesn't care. She'll do anything to stay on the show. And that's the difference between she and I. The biggest difference is what I'm seeing is this display. You're seeing for the first time what I've known all along. But, I forgave her. We moved on. I went back. I thought, wow, this will help clear up my name, because she's the person that really gave this perception all those years ago. And she really, without that, I wasn't coming back. But back to this, she's showing you what I've known all along. And some of you weren't fooled. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of you that were, always like, Danielle, don't trust her. She showed you once, she'll show you again. I just feel like I wish you understood this is not for me to go, see, finally, I'm right. No, this is for me for the first time to get my closure with this. So I could watch what I've never watched and know that it was happening all along. And Jackie, as you'll recall, I mean, there's no love lost there, but she ganged up with the rest of them on me, and she and I had never really had a conversation. She was one of the few I didn't actually, help smooth the way. Well, she had Margaret for that, but I'm in awe of the way that they can trick all of you into seeing what they need you to see. And it's either brilliant or it's cruel. But I think they've gone to a level of cruelty with these shows that I don't know if there's a way back from it. And I tried so hard to give them a chance to really clean up the mess they made of, what the perception is that they put out there about me, and show a little bit of the rest of me instead of just this one creation that they had made. It's a shame they don't show you all that footage that was just beautiful of my kids and I and us doing things that were really fun and much to the point, true about our lives, because this is reality. So with season 2, I think I'm season 11, episode 2, I'm already convinced that by watching just this much already, I already can predict what's going to happen. And I'm not going to ruin that for you, but I am going to watch along, and I'm going to make sure that you get my opinions, but I want to also be able to involve, any of you that might be having some questions. I want to open up the floor for questioning. And I think I got to get closer to my camera again, because I know I have, Yavet trying to get in here. But I think it's, it's a little early, and I wanted to make sure that I had this little time with you before he does. If you're speaking to me on here, now that I'm up close, I can see there's a lot of you that are saying things that I really want to know, but gotta make it really big, okay? All caps, please. That way I can see you maybe. And I see now why Yavet's not here, because it's not 8 yet. So I'm early. You get a little extra of me. I want to give you guys my glam. I want to let you know, my closet is going to be wide open throughout these episodes. And the day after show, which is my baby, is about the smoke clearing and what it feels like to have been a part of that. And I relive it all the time, but to be that person that's under siege that episode. And I don't think any of them really understood what they were doing to me until it's now happening to them. And it's a real quick lesson. Sadly, I watch because I do empathize with them. I have a lot of empathy. How defeated you feel, and how it's impossible to describe. So when you're watching somebody else go through it, and you know exactly every moment, to the T that they're going to have throughout the day, it's like an awakening. And it's like, wait, did that just really happen? Maybe it didn't happen. Maybe it's not as bad as I think. And then it just all hits you. And you hear everybody saying all the words that they're saying, and at me, it was always all of them, all at the same time. So I really had to kind of compartmentalize each one of them like a robot and be like, just a minute, one at a time, which I'm pretty famous for saying. It's one of my lines. But, Jackie got her words out and she made her point. And I know that Teresa was hurting in her own way the next day, but Teresa's not really in that kind of pain that Jackie's in. Teresa's in this shock that somebody said that to me kind of feeling. And I've never been that entitled to have the feelings that Teresa's having. So I'm just going to try to break them down from knowing her personally for all these years. What she's capable of is just dismissing things. The moment she gets pushed back upon, she dismisses everything that happened prior to that she might have done to bring that on. because now it's personal. What she forgets, what she's doing in that moment is more than personal as well. And I truly believe Jackie was giving an analogy. She was trying to give Teresa a like, hey, say, just pay attention for a minute. Like I would say, pay attention, please. Now everyone knows why I said that to Teresa. She just doesn't stop. So Jackie was most definitely having her moment with, did she choose right? I don't know. I'm not Jackie. I'm saying she tried to use it as an analogy. I don't think she was spreading rumors, which is exactly what Teresa was doing. Was spreading a rumor. As a guest at the person of rumor, where is there no etiquette? I mean, it's not moral. Like, you don't do things like that. And to try to tear at the very core of a couple, of a marriage. And you saw it with your own eyes. You heard it with your own ears. It wasn't me saying, oh, Teresa said this. It was Teresa doing that. As opposed to now, let me give you this analogy. They would say I did or said something. And a lot of you would believe it. But you didn't see me do it and you didn't hear me say it. So there's a big difference there. But just try to weigh in on that. I guess that's my best analogy to make a parallel with Teresa, if I could. She's not hearing anything Jackie's saying. She's just blaming Jackie for attacking Gia. Gia was very collected. And I think she gave good advice, as she always does. Oh gosh, my earrings, sorry guys. But I think it's sad to see how much she's trying to create with this just one thing. And I've been there. I know all the people that are in her ears saying, you're going to let her get away with that? What are you going to do to her? And I could name names if you're watching. I won't. Not yet. Down the line I may. But they do stay in Teresa's ear all the time. Doesn't mean she shouldn't take responsibility for the things that she does, because God only knows I was held accountable and I took accountability. That's why it was so difficult for me to say what I had to say, and I was threatened, or I wouldn't have said it. Because what did it serve? What purpose would it have served? Yeah, the truth is always really hard for Teresa to accept. So you guys are willing to play along with that. That's great, and that's fine. But I think it's a reality show. It should be a lot more reality going on, don't you think? I don't know. I think I'm kind of frozen here. Let's see. There we go. Who's disappointed in Melissa's reaction? I didn't see that. Somebody asked that question. What were you disappointed in? The fact that she didn't have Teresa's back, or the fact that, what? I don't know. Because, they don't really get along. So they do what they're told to do. So much so that Melissa's even talked herself into believing that she's been there for 11 seasons. Isn't this the 11th season? I think it is. Yeah. I think, oops, what just happened? There you are. Yavet is saying it won't let him in. Does anyone know how to... Sorry about being so up close. There we go. That's so funny. All right. Once I get Yavet in, I might be able to let somebody else in, but I have to get Yavet in here first, guys. Is there a way I can get him in, maybe? It's so strange. Yes, he watched the show. I heard that, smarty. Literally, I love you guys. You're just so on it. That's why I was a little disappointed that not more of you were actually on this prior to me having to, well, it wouldn't have been as fun doing what I'm doing right now, huh? So, I'm about ready to give you guys a fashion show. I have to sit closer, I'm sorry. Just for a few minutes. I'll have some wine. Whoever asked last night what I drank, I love fine crystal, but my wine, as long as it's a very good wine, it doesn't have to be super expensive. I love a good Sauvignon Blanc. New Zealand, and you can find a great one for under $15. Trust me. So yummy. But that's what's in my glass. Add me from where? Where am I adding you from, Yavet? I think I have to call him, maybe. Is that what I'm doing? These technical problems. I'm telling you right now. Hold on, guys. I promise this won't take long. It won't send a request. So, Yavet, maybe go off and then come back on again. Go out of the live and come back in. Try that. Maybe? I don't know. Anyone have any suggestions? Twerk? That's not gonna work. I'm kidding, of course I know what you meant. If I press any of these buttons, I could risk losing you. So let's see. Anyone can see this way. We'll see you just watch this live. Go live with. Oh, okay, here we go. There he is. Come back. Okay, I think I did it.
Bingo! We got it.
My God.
How are you, my love?
I'm good, honey. Did you hear they were all asking if you watched the show, the episode?
Yes, actually, so let me just say, I apologize. I have to admit, I am actually, I met Danielle
I'm going to back up a little
before I ever saw the show. So I am playing a lot of catch up, guys, but I am watching this
I'm
season.
the reason you started watching.
She is the reason I started watching. I was
Just
not
like
a fan
a
of the
lot
show
of you.
prior, so please bear with me.
Yeah, let him get caught up.
Cheers to you.
Salud,
you look great.
baby.
I like the cheetah.
Thank you. A little leopard,
Leopard is always great.
I think I need some more support for the girls, though.
No, they look great. What do you mean?
I don't want anything anymore. I want to be flat-chested like I was from the beginning.
Bras are out. I mean, it's 2021. We gave those up in 2020.
I hate bras. I hate bras. I hate push-ups. I hate all of that stuff. But
yeah,
I also don't like implants either. So.
But I like this look. You look amazing.
Comfortable.
Good.
Thank you, honey. I have a little Chanel booty on.
Very cute. Can't go wrong with Chanel.
And then I have on, I don't know if you can see, and I have on earrings. I'm going to do a fashion show after this, though. I think we have to do that because I want to make this a place where everyone can come and see, like, other parts of me.
Absolutely.
Like, when I watch the episode, I'm in my, like, sweatpants and fuzzy socks or a sneaker. It's real nail biter.
Yeah, I believe it. All right, so let's talk about that episode.
Yes.
So the whole show started with Teresa calling Melissa, which I found interesting because she was calling her to tell her about what had just happened with Jackie. I found it interesting because of their supposed relationship, Melissa and Teresa. I know they're sister-in-laws, but that they're not getting along so well, yet she's the first person she calls.
It's not a real tight love there. It's not a genuine love there. I mean, they love each other for conveniences, But I mean, to be honest with you, Melissa went after Teresa first. Before she even got on the show, she was gunning for me, trying to get
Okay.
me to get Teresa and Joe in trouble. I'm not going to give the whole story away here, but
Yeah.
as time goes by and the episodes go by, and the more Teresa and Melissa keep acting like arses, I might have to spill a little more because they're really pissing me off, the two of them.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
being given a platform that they should be showing what a family's supposed to be like.
I
And the
completely agree.
first opening scene of Melissa and Joe with Joe and Teresa is charging each other like bulls at a baby's christening. Do we
Ooh, I
not
haven't
all
gotten to
remember
that
that?
yet, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see that happen.
I think Teresa was called Trash or something by her brother. Yeah, I mean, I
Ooh.
was really confused as to why that wouldn't have affected their parents and their entire family. But back to this, I mean,
So do you
Melissa,
just think that it's
Teresa, that's
because
even more the reason. Why would Teresa be calling Melissa?
is it just because
Because she's
Melissa and
told to
Jackie
call
are
Melissa.
friends?
She has to
Exactly.
call
See,
Melissa.
that's what I was wondering. So what about this rule of analogy? And we don't use analogies and we don't use kids. Have you ever heard this amongst your friends? Like, is this something that you guys live by? Because I remember that was
Well,
mentioned.
let's just get one thing straight
Yeah,
right now.
tell me.
They are not my friends. But
Okay.
my friends would not be talking like that at a party I invited them to about me or any one of my guests, because that is just not ethical and it is not moral and beyond. I mean, there's absolutely no etiquette to any of them.
So do you
No
think that
etiquette.
Teresa deserved the analogy?
I don't think anything else was going to make her snap out of it and make her stop. I
Yeah.
think Jackie was trying to get her point across.
What do you
And to be
think
honest with you, I
Teresa's
might
in?
be the only other person in the universe that ever told Teresa, pay attention, please. Do we
Yeah.
not know now why I had to say that? I mean, it's frustrating when you're trying to get through a piece of wood with a splinter. You're just not, it's not going to happen. So
Right.
you have to drive a nail through it. And that's what she did. I don't agree with the analogy, but I believe it's applicable.
So what do you think Teresa's intentions were to spread this rumor? Do you feel like it was her place to tell Jackie about the rumor or the whole
I
thing?
think Teresa's intentions were to have a storyline and remain relevant because she needs to make the big wow factor, and she does what she's told to do, and she will sacrifice anybody. Trust me, anybody.
It does seem like she's
I
a
mean, wasn't
producer
she
puppet.
lifelong friends with Jacqueline? I mean, look what happened there.
I got to catch
And
up to that too.
I mean, it's unbelievable. This is going to be a lot of fun. Trust me,
Oh,
because
I
I get
can't
to say
wait.
all the things that I've been saying, but not to the people that's going to make that wave of a difference. And if people don't like me anyway, it's fine, but at least let yourself be informed properly.
Yeah,
Come to the
absolutely.
source. You want to know who I am? It's me. Come to me. Why would you listen to a woman that I had just met 5 minutes before getting on a show? They wanted
Right.
to live my life so much so that they tore mine apart, and then they were able to buy their own homes. Let's
So
just face it. I owned my own home outright starting in season 1. I've had
is
nothing but a
Teresa
difficult time since.
the type of girl to come like be upfront with like rumors about this? Like, do you think that she's the type of girl that she would have heard this rumor and then when she went to would go to Jackie to her and tell her what happened? Or do you think that the way she went about it is
I
typical
don't think
Teresa?
Teresa would have given a tiny little rat's ass what's going on in Jackie's life if it weren't something for the show. She
Okay.
wouldn't care. She wouldn't be giving her a minute of thought. She's too busy thinking about herself.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it does kind of seem that way. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know much about her, but I do know she's on the show. She's been on all 11 seasons, right?
Teresa, yeah.
So she
She's the
must,
only one that's been on all 11 seasons.
and
Melissa's got to take a math class or something.
I'm dead. So
But she's
how,
been telling herself so many lies for so many years that she now believes that she's been on for every season.
what do you think of the relationship between Melissa and Jennifer? Apparently they have some type of beef. Is that legitimate? Like, do they
Yeah.
really not get along?
No, they don't vibe each other.
And is this just like a personal thing or like, what do you think is
Well,
going on
Jennifer's
there?
up Teresa's ass.
Oh, and Melissa doesn't like that.
Melissa hates it. She'll do
Because,
anything to get between us. She would have tried harder with me if it weren't for the fact that I had a history with Teresa, and I also were carrying around a whole suitcase. I mean, we're talking about a trunk that sinks to the bottom of the ocean that divers go looking for gems. And this is like the pot of gold. I had a whole trunk filled with it of her fucking shit. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Lake George? I found that also kind of a strange place to take a trip. I mean, I've been to Lake George. It's very quaint, very fun, and I guess they didn't have many other places to go during the pandemic. But
And that was it.
yeah.
No, none of them have really frequented there. That was just a place that allowed them to film.
And do you think that it was like a wise choice for Jackie not to go on this trip?
100%. I agreed with her nuts to bolts. I mean, if it weren't for her, you know, calling and checking in, which she was, I'm guessing, but
what do you think
it's probably accurate.
that
She was calling in
was?
to check to see if anyone was missing her, because I think that was mostly the producers.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think she would be checking that much.
How
She
else
seems
would
like a
she
little
know?
bit smarter than like people are giving her credit to be. We don't need her to shove it down our throats every chance she gets that she's educated.
Right.
That an educated
She
person
loves
just
to throw
doesn't
away
do that.
that lawyer title around.
Yeah, but you gave up practicing law to be on a reality show, so how smart are you? I mean, what else can I actually do? I've been on TV and been in the industry since I was 9 years old. You know, television came later for me, but I was in theater and in the arts, but there's nothing else I can do. But she went to school for law.
That's a very valid point. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty
a question.
valid.
That's the elephant in the room I have. Why aren't you practicing law?
Right. If you're so educated, then why are you not using your education?
And some will say, oh, well, she quit to raise her children. What's she doing now? Is she raising her kids, or is she all over the place going on cast trips,
we had a
and
guess.
going away? And I can't buy that. You don't stop one job and then brag about having that job on the show that's actually taking more time away from your family. I know. I filmed as a full-time cast. I know how many hours a day that entails. So she is not spending that time with her family. So sorry.
I think it's really funny how on the first season that she was on, it was kind of mentioned how she was kind of frugal. And then they immediately go to a scene of her cutting her own kid's hair where she's talking about how she did it during the pandemic and she fell in love with it. Is it really that, or do you just not want to buy them haircuts? Like, what do you think about that?
I think she needed something to do to show that she was a stay-at-home mom. And I think she thought it was a good idea when it was suggested to her. Do I think she came with the thought herself? No.
Okay. So how involved are these producers with like setting up these situations? Like, would you say
microscopically involved?
They just kind of like
they'll
the
reshoot
idea, plant the seed
with just your voice only, and it's called a voice over. You know,
some people
without
had
you
mentioned
even being physically there, so they can change the words. So when you're talking, they shoot from behind your head, so it makes it seem like you're saying it, but that wasn't even said during the scene. So I don't do those. I don't do them. I'm like, where are you putting this? Where are you putting these words?
Well, some people claim that that's what happened in the first episode when Teresa was walking around the party. Some people were saying that you didn't actually see her mouth move and say that Evan does stuff in the gym. Some people were saying she was a victim of this voiceover thing. What do you think? Do you think that was happening?
I saw her lips moving, and I saw her repeat the same thing over and over again.
That's what I thought.
You know, I'm paying attention to those details. Trust me, I am. I don't even have to look again. But I think everybody else saying that should look again.
So do you think that this was kind of karma, though, at the same time? Because Jackie did talk about Teresa in the first season that she was on when there was those rumors of her.
And my marriage, and she had never really even met Marty. So
do you think that she kind of had this coming that Teresa was going to come to her?
I think whatever any of them do and got coming, it's coming. They're all going to have their payday because I'm not there. When you remove the one target, the easy target, the one that just goes ahead and takes it again, you know, season after season, just so please accept me, please let me fit in. And so it's like, done. And when you're done, you're done. Oh my God, your dog's so cute.
I know. He wants to be part of the show.
He is. He's the star. Come on over here, Fendi. Getting shown up here. I think that it's safe to say that, it's going to be each and every one of them. They're all going to be feeling something, and they're going to feel it in ways they never expected.
But that's kind of the curse of reality TV in a sense, right? Like at some point,
it takes
could go
its turn.
sour.
I had hoped that it would have rotated a little bit when I was
Do you
on,
think?
but
Yeah, it seems like you kept getting the short end of the stick.
exhausting. Because everyone knew that that would automatically hit them in the press. They'd get an article out of that. So why not?
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I think now in this season we'll definitely get a better understanding that when you're not around, they don't really have a scapegoat.
No, they don't. And you know, it's ironic because they still have empathy for them, but mainly because I feel like they just are now beginning to comprehend what it's like to be on a reality show. It ain't that fun. Like, they were all having a blast up until I removed myself. It happened last time I removed myself. Teresa went to prison. Did we forget?
Right. That's
the one
pretty
that said
terrifying.
had no skeletons in her closets. Okay.
Yeah, something's about to come up, right? Do you think
that it was already there? They were just hiding behind me. The same thing they did when I came back. Like, regurgitating that? Why? I had already unpacked it, put it to rest, and gone through it. So you can't regurgitate these things. What's she going to feel like every time this airs? It's going to air every time a season comes up for the rest of all times.
Exactly.
That's when they're going to know how they're feeling. That's when they'll be in their feelings, because it regurgitates every time. And that's why I stopped watching the show altogether.
Right, it never does.
I think I watched 5 episodes and I went, you know what, I'm done. This is like all really bad, and it's a misrepresentation of me. So I just got to lean in and do press and try to do as many charity events as I can until I just have to leave, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of them are going to make harsh decisions. You know, they're going to make a decision whether to stay or to go. But once they get their claws into you and they know that they can do that, it's going to happen to each and every one of them. It happened to Teresa already. She's up for another rotation. What's left? I mean, what is truly left?
Right.
I just wish for her sake that she would do something so that her younger kids could have a little more quality. You know?
Right.
It's my kids. That's why I left after season 2. You know, and I promised them I wouldn't return until they were graduated from high school.
And that's what you did, right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I did. And I kept my promise. Even though I needed the work and I was asked back, I couldn't do it. Plus, I didn't have an ally. How could I go to my kids and say, it's better now? You won't get a call from the emergency room again because, you know, mommy's safe now. I have an ally. It still wasn't true. You remember Teresa sitting with Jillian telling her that, you know, she was very sorry for all that she had done. Yeah. Bitch, why didn't you remember that? You sat in front of my kid and you promised you wouldn't do that again. Nobody remembers that, huh? My kids are just as important. I see the comments about the kids. My kids are important too. Did everyone forget what she did to my kids? To me, in front of my children. That was happening to my kids, Yavet.
They were babies.
Babies.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm like getting to
Dylan was
season
9.
2 now.
Christine was 13. And all the kids were watching. No matter what Bravo makes you think or the producers makes you, they were all right there.
Well, I mean, how big could the restaurant possibly be?
They took the cameras off of them. Doesn't mean they removed them from the rooms. They were there.
Do you think that Margaret had some kind of involvement in that rumor for some reason that Teresa was spreading?
Oh, I think Margaret started the rumor.
Why do you think that?
I think because there's something between her and Joe going on, and there's been something between them going on for a while.
Joe
with
Gorga?
This whole Evan and Jackie
Joe, her
thing.
husband.
Yeah, huh?
Between Joe and Margaret, you said?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Joe the plumber.
Her husband.
There's a lot of Joes here. Yeah.
I was going to say.
Joe Benigno, yeah.
Okay.
So he loves to stir that shit. He gets in there and he doesn't care who he hurts. So if she said something to him, and no joke, and I guarantee she did, pillow talk with your husband should be safe. I wasn't safe with my husband, but it doesn't mean everybody else should be safe, you know?
Well, what do you think that they
And I
have
think
against
he
Jackie and
repeated what
Evan?
he heard during Pillow Talk when he was drunk one night as a show off to Joey Gorga, like he loves to do because he wants to, you know, be cool, be a Goomba, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah, because they're super cool for the way that they behave. They're
I mean,
exemplary examples for what
that
we
makes a
want our
lot of
children to
sense.
achieve in life.
I mean, that makes a lot of, I mean, points that I didn't think about before.
In order
Okay.
to stay in the game, you've got to be in every scene. In order to be in every scene, you've got to make something happen. And in order to make something happen, you have to tell the producers you want to make that happen. And once that hits the air with the producers, game over. Your
Right, because
number is
they're
up
going to
and
use
they're
that.
coming for you. Because
Right.
now they have a storyline.
And it's all
This is
about
the
the storyline.
storyline. It'll be all season. What's
Ooh,
established in
interesting.
episode 1, they hit on it all. They hit the points. But we
What would
don't
you,
see anybody backing down. And then we see, you know, Dolores is going to have a meltdown, and I know what that's going to be about.
let's talk
Because
about
remember,
Dolores for a
I had
second.
pillow talk with these girls too. You know, I was close with Dolores. So there
Right.
were things that we would speak about. And of course, the one thing that I did repeat on camera, I thought she'd be pissed and be like mad at me for repeating it. But instead, she called me scumbag like 50 times and then made that into her storyline. You know,
So I
welcome
actually
back,
have
scumbag.
I have a question about that. So we know the whole thing with Dolores and David, and Frank. We can't forget
Yeah,
Frank because he's part of the equation too.
very
Um,
uncomfortable.
but they're not married, they're not engaged. She talks about how great the sex is, but she also says that she
Yes, and
just
go
feels
Dolores on that point. I mean, you gotta support another sister, man.
good for her. Yeah, and not even gonna lie. But she does mention that David doesn't know how to communicate. So based off of everything you just said and what you know, do you, in your opinion, what are Dolores's communication skills like?
I think that she's hot and cold. I don't think Dolores has that. What's presented on the show is very even because apparently I was able to trigger that by just saying something and repeating something that she had told me.
Why was she when with the whole scumbag thing?
Yeah, because she told me that off camera. And she was just going through, in fairness to her, and this is why I didn't think she'd be upset about it, or deny. I never thought she'd deny it. I knew she'd be pissed that I said something because I'm not one to say something that's said to me off camera. I'm just not. I mean, look how long I've held on to the Melissa bullshit.
Right.
But when she told me, she was going through, you know, okay, so you're coming back because, you know, Frankie's coming over and he's going to get some help, you know, for suggestions for college and stuff. Here's the lowdown. Melissa is blah, blah, blah. Teresa is, and then she said, loves money more than anything else. Like she'll do anything for money. I
This
forget
is
the exact
Dolores that
words at
told
this
you
point, and
this?
they're irrelevant. But her point was to let me know who's who and where everyone's standing. She didn't know Margaret just met her or hadn't even met her yet. We hadn't gone on the cast trip. Siggy and I were in love. That was what she just kind of wrapped it all into a circle. So she wasn't saying something malicious about Teresa. She was just stating, you know, this is the lowdown. Now you're all caught up. That's what she said to me.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting season for sure. It looks like next episode we're going to take a look into this whole Melissa Joe situation, and it looks like she's texting somebody or something's
Yeah, and
getting
you
stirred
know,
up over
and there's
there.
Teresa again telling Joey, like, that's not something you want to put on camera. This is again hurting your family.
Very
Why not
interesting.
go to Joey off camera, all the hours you're off camera, and say to him, listen, Melissa's talking to another guy. You know, it's not necessary to cause all of that pain.
To make it part of the show.
So if I have to use the best analogy ever, it would be even to her family she does this. So, you know, there's no regard for anybody. I think it was handled poorly. I don't think that she's off base. I think there's a lot of trouble there, and I know Melissa's trying to cover it up, and I've heard her in several interviews trying to, you know, just talk about how they've displayed so much love over the years for each other. But all in all, no, you haven't. You've shown us what you want us to see. Now the real shit's starting to come out.
Right. That's what it
So
seems.
if I'm being asked by anyone if I believe that their marriage is in trouble, their marriage has been in trouble for a very long time.
It must be really hard to have a relationship while having this type of career.
Yeah, I haven't been successful at it, so. Really, I mean, I seriously doubt
I set
Teresa's
that
going to
one
have
up
any
front.
better luck than me. People love the name. They love to think they're dating somebody that's, people know. And then when the nostalgia wears off, they're like, wait, what can I get from this now that I could
Right.
use things against her? And then before they go on their merry way, they might steal, like, I don't know, your down payment on a house or something from you. Yeah, things like that.
So
Shit
if
happens, you give them a wedding on camera, you think the man would be fucking happy. No, I'm kidding. Back to this one, not kidding.
I'm
So
dead.
this mess that we are calling the season, episode 2 of the season 11 is leading me to believe that all in all, this season is setting us up for a lot of drama for Jackie and a rude awakening because her relationship is going to be put to the test like never before. And unfortunately, I have to speak my truth. I saw a picture that, Bravo Dish put up. I think it's a Daily Dish. Beautiful picture in the studio, getting ready to, film their Bravo, what do you call it, behind the scenes or whatever they're calling it, the
Uh-huh.
dish.
Okay.
She looked really cute on his back, so she couldn't see his face. Evan looked scared shitless.
I'm
So
dead.
the picture that was chosen by Bravo strategically shows Jackie's words during her interview saying, "We are just fine." And you see the face of Evan. They probably did that intentionally.
Of course they
But do
did.
you
Is
see
there
how that
anything that's ever
perception, I could have let that perception go like on as a rumor. Oh my God, look at his face. Meanwhile, people understand, I don't think Jackie posted that picture. She probably reposted it because she was tagged in it and
right?
told to repost it. But
She
I
didn't
don't
think
think
anything
she
of
would have
it,
chose
probably.
that picture
Yeah.
because Evan's
Ooh.
face is a little uneasy, and that's why Bravo chose it.
All right. So for Danielle's hot seat, let's pick somebody from the episode that you would put in the hot seat for this week, and why you're putting them in the hot seat.
Margaret Josephs.
Oh, Dish, do tell. Why is Margaret in the hot seat this week?
Margaret's in the hot seat this week because she is behind all of it. She is the puppet master, and she's making shit happen. And now, because she was pacing back and forth and saying, "Oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What are you going to do now?" You mean now that you said something about someone else's marriage, it's too late. Now she's in big shit, and as soon as Jackie catches on to that, the sooner she catches on, the better.
So you
That's why
think this is going
Margaret's
to
in the
catch
hot seat.
light?
Huh?
You think this will catch the light that she's behind it?
Oh, I think most
Interesting.
definitely we're going to see that unfold.
Okay. That's very
And if we
interesting.
don't, we're going to unfold it right here. Don't worry, I'll fold it back up again and put it away because Mama loves a good secret.
There we go. I mean, we'll hear
And,
it here first.
and I also have one more question for her. Why all of a sudden is Lexi and Marge Sr. back in so heavily? Where's all her friends?
I've seen this lady before, this Lexi lady, hang around with
She
her,
was in
but I've
her original
never,
seasons because Margaret had nobody else to film with, really.
but I've also never seen her, I could be wrong, but I've never seen her travel with her like they did on this trip.
One other trip, the cast trip that I was not invited on, that was Margaret's as well. And she said the same thing about me. That was the beginning of then. Oh, I miss Danielle. I feel so bad. I wish she was here. She was the reason I wasn't there. But nobody could know
SMH.
that. They
So
weren't going to let
now,
you see that. And Jackie is very authentic. I truly believe that she is. I think that there's something about her that just, it resonates. And she's
she
really
does
not
give that
desperate for
vibe.
the attention. And I think she comes from, she comes from money. So she has an air of class about her. But she's also a little bit arrogant. And so she needs to tone that down if she's going to deal with people that she believes are far beneath her in the education and all.
But do you think that this is like a defense mechanism? Do you think that she feels like she has to come off as this like educated, like
Yeah,
arrogant
I do think
person, so
partially
that
because anyone with damage, like she's admitted to, the eating disorders and everything. I think that it leaves its scars, and it pops up in the strangest ways. So yeah, it's probably an automatic defensive mechanism. She's feeling judged, she's feeling cornered,
right,
and for a long time she probably kept her mouth shut and just got punched a lot. Not literally,
right,
but
like as a
I
punching
relate to
bag.
that as well. And then after a while, keeping your mouth shut just feels like it's starting to hurt a little too much. So you open your mouth and it just vomits words. And
Right.
her words make a lot of sense. That's all. The difference between hers and someone else's vomiting words is she's making sense. It's in context as well.
Yeah, I mean, she said what she said. So now
She
that the
said what she
dust
said. They
has,
all said what they said. Now they got to deal with what they got to deal
they
with
got
and
to
do what
deal
they
with
got
it.
to do.
Exactly. So now that the dust is settled, this is the day after you watched the show, you gave your opinions when you were live last night. Is there anything that you've changed your mind from yesterday to today that you mentioned yesterday, or do you feel the same way today as when you initially saw the episode? Have you
Hmm.
reflected on anything, or how do you feel about that?
No, I just might have missed a few things that really got under my skin.
What do
I
you
was a
mean?
little confused. Yes,
Okay,
there is one
tell me.
thing. And it's no disrespect. Um, but the parents of the cast, can we please leave their relationships alone?
Wait, I actually had a question about that. Thank you so much for reminding me. What is your opinion on Jennifer taking her father in because of the parents' relationship?
Not on camera. In private, yes.
That's
She can
in,
do whatever she wants in private. I'm not
especially because
here
the
to
mom
judge.
was like crying to her about it, and too, and it kind of seems like
And we
she's
should
siding
not
with the
know all of
dad.
that. Why isn't Jennifer's story enough? Why does it have to be on her parents?
I
I
just
don't
think that
have
if we're
parents.
keeping the kids
I
out
don't
of
have
it,
the option of having parents. So please don't involve your parents in this. Just
well,
don't.
if we're keeping the kids out of it, why are we not letting these like parents and these older people also be at peace and not
Because
have to deal
all
with it?
parent wants to do, because I'm a mom, I'll do anything for my kids. I wouldn't even think I'd dive
Right,
right into the abyss.
right, right, right.
But to share that kind of information, my opinion, I don't want to see that, and it hurts me deeply that they need to do this.
It's deep, right? Like, I
It's
don't
too
know. I
deep.
felt some kind of way about it
It's too
too.
deep and it's too dark, and it's actually
Have you
it's
gotten to meet her parents at all? Have you like
very
visited?
sweet. Oh my
I'm
God, so
sure.
sweet. So
And they've probably
sweet.
been together
Well,
forever.
they were so
So,
happy because remember in the beginning, guys, I was with Jennifer a lot, even off camera, because I mean, her kids were even inviting me to their birthday parties because nobody liked Jennifer. Like they were attacking her. Margaret was attacking, so the other new castmate, which was Jackie, was attacking, which
right,
meant Melissa was attacking, which meant
right.
Teresa was just kind of like, and
Oh
Margaret was going for
gosh.
her marriage, going for everything. And so I was like, oh, here I go again. I'm running after Jennifer. Okay. But she
But it
got
looks like
monkey's
she then
lips.
she flipped it. So like it looks like she
And
was
she flipped
becoming
on me.
the
Yeah.
scapegoat, and then she flipped it, and then made it all against. It's very interesting. The
Yep.
science behind this
And
housewife
I was
stuff.
at her house a lot because I really wanted people to know on Instagram. I would do lives. I would just go there just to stop by and make her feel better. Um, she was going through a transition. I really liked her a lot. And I loved her family, especially her daughter, Gabby, who was just like, when I came to that red party, these kids hear what's going to happen.
They
They
know.
hear everything. My
I'm
kids heard
imagining.
everything when the producers are talking. There's no home big enough. My house was monstrous too. The kids want to hear something. It doesn't matter if it's a 2x4 or a 16,000 square foot home. They're going to have their ear up against it. And you know what? She was scared. She was nervous, and I didn't even know what was going on. I
Right.
just knew that little girl drew me in her energy, and I just couldn't get enough of her from
So
that moment
cute.
on.
So
And
cute.
so Jennifer, I felt such a kinship with, because on the way back from our first cast trip with them on the show, um, she was going to fly alone, or someone had to give up their early flight and would have gotten home at noon. But instead, I got home at 1 o'clock the next morning because I said, go ahead and transfer my ticket out. And I gave up first class for it as well because I didn't want her to fly alone. She already felt like shit from the
Wow.
trip. So everyone calling her names. So I sat there and got to know her kids on the whole trip back with a layover by her showing me pictures and videos. And, you know, I got to know
So
the
she's
whole
a proud
family.
mama.
And so when we returned, it was like we just put in like 2 or 3 years of time.
Right.
And I didn't regret any of it. I thought, like, I'm that person. I'll do the right thing because that makes me feel good as well. I'm not
Has
a
she ever
do-gooder.
apologized for what she did
No,
to
no,
you?
no, 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 no.
Interesting.
But none of them have. So,
All right.
you know,
Well,
God has his way.
yeah, definitely.
He
I think
always has his way.
we should
So
open the
should I
floor
do
to
a little,
some.
should I stand up and show you guys what I'm wearing?
Yeah, and in the meantime, we'll open the floor for some questions, and then I'll pick some out for you. But
Perfect.
show us what you got going on, and
Perfect,
guys, if
because
you
you
have
know
any
I do want to
questions,
show off a little bit. Let me move this down.
yes,
Hold on.
I should put a song on for you. You
And I
better
promise
work.
you that I will put up a picture too. I don't know if we can see me yet. Move this back again. Are we getting me?
Obsessed,
We're not getting the
obsessed.
whole thing, are
I
we?
don't get to see the shoes though.
Oh my God, you have to see the shoes. Well, how about those?
There we go, and you got to do a twirl for us.
I'll do a twirl. But I'm also going to do a walk for you guys when we're done so you guys can get the whole fashion lowdown with here because
Absolutely.
these are all from Danielle's closet, my closet, for real. None of it's for sale. And it's quite my art collection. I'm just so proud of my wardrobe. And these are just casual pieces because I love to keep it simple since COVID. Nothing like a good jogger. So
I'm
stay
with
tuned here
you.
and I'll
I
give you some good fashion tips
love
as well.
joggers.
Comfortable shit that you can wear sneakers with all day and then put on a cute little pump at night.
I
For
love
all
it.
my girls and gals.
All right, so let's see what these fans want
Can
to
you even
say.
see?
I'm gonna be zoomed in. They're gonna get a real close shot of my face, but that's
Yeah, they are.
okay.
Your forehead is clear as
You see
anything.
that? Shoom. So somebody asked, Danielle said that Marge originally wanted to pour wine on her Gucci outfit. Was that all staged? Can she take us play by play?
It was a Versace outfit.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. But the wine was so it was symbolic of the trip to Mexico when she threw red wine on the dress. I literally, right before they said 3, 2, the tag got clipped off. It was a $900 Camilla Lake beautiful little gown that I
I
bought.
remember that. I remember that
And
gown.
she knew what it was. And she picked red wine. She doesn't even drink. So the Versace outfit, when she suggested it, and I heard her saying, you know, to Dorothy, who has now been fired, since been fired, red wine, red wine. And that's all I heard. And I'm like, oh, this better not be fucking happening. And that's when I had to say, you know, this is silk. This is very expensive, and I would appreciate you not messing me up. So what do? They, you know, pour water all over silk. It doesn't do me any favors either, but that was how that incident came to happen. They would have done the red wine had I not heard it. I'm sure.
All right, let's
But
see
I
what else we
also
got
know they didn't
here.
want to pay for the Versace.
So
And Guido is Guido Stores in Englewood. That's who sold it to me. The Versace hanger, all the stuff that came with it. So if you want to check on its authenticity, yeah, you can check with him. You're welcome, Guido. Love you.
somebody wants to know, how do the girls get casted? And
The
how are
original
some of them?
seasons?
Well, the question says, how do girls get casted? How did they even find Jackie and Jennifer, or people that are mutual friends? Is this like an audition process?
Okay, so originally we were cast by being hunted down and spied on like little,
That sounds
and it was in a
terrifying.
cute way, but producers were on the scout and the lookout in like, you know, high-end salons and in neighborhoods that were, you know, upper chalas, so to speak. And so they came to Franklin Lakes, and I was in the hair salon, and they just walked in and they wanted to cast a certain amount of us. And I was the only one they didn't know the rest of the ladies. So they just kept asking me for 6 months straight. And I was like, I don't even know them. They're not my friends. Why would I be doing this? I mean, the one I was going to have her cater it, but I didn't like the food. And that was probably why Caroline didn't like me. But my husband and I, we threw a lot of parties. My real husband, not the fake ass one that married me to be on TV. Talking about the father of my children. We did a lot of parties that were very, very, very expensive, and even had designers design my outfits and my wardrobe for it. Emilio Pucci had feathers all over the place. I'll wear that one night.
So you basically have to be part of this like lifestyle, and they kind of find you.
They found me through all of my diamonds and driving a different car every time that I pulled up. Meanwhile, I lived off of my jewelry collection from my husband, selling piece by piece to put my kids through private school. And that's how I supported myself as well. I thought maybe the show might be a good way for my career to take another turn. And it came on the heels of, my divorce. It was literally the same week signing the contracts as the ink was drying in May on my divorce documents after 6.5-year divorce litigation. So I thought, well, this is a new beginning, and it's in my industry, and I don't know much about reality TV, but let's give it a try. Long and short, that's how we were casted. Now, fast forward to these Jackie and Jennifer. They were put up by Julius, was Jennifer. Jennifer kept saying she wanted to be on the show. She even told me the story. For 5 years, she was trying to be on the show. So she kept submitting, and I go, you were submitting to whom? Because like last I knew, they go out and they look for people. But a lot had changed. See, I only know the original stuff. And putting Melissa on the show, that's what I did. The other stuff, I don't know. So Melissa, by the way, you're welcome. The hardest part for me to comprehend was like hearing that Jennifer herself was telling me how badly she wanted to be on the show, but they weren't yet able to build their dream house. There we go.
I was going to say, I think we're lagging.
Wi-Fi. Sorry. When she was able to build her house, and then she checked back in, and Julius had been then working for Watch What Happens Live, and he put in a good word for her as well because he was doing her hair. And I think she just really put herself in the right crowd. As she wanted to get on the show, she would see this person would go to this stylist, so she would go to them. And as her husband became very successful and they had their big house built, that's how she got on.
Interesting.
She said it wasn't until she moved into her house that.
So you basically had to achieve this level of status.
Now, Jackie came from, now I was up to be made full-time. Margaret's only ally, right? So Margaret lets me know she's going to dinner with this couple that Dorothy wanted her to meet. And I said, Dorothy wanted you to meet a couple? Why are you going to dinner with them? What are you telling me this for? You don't need my permission. And she said, yeah, because I think you should know I'm supposed to talk them into being on the show and tell them how great it is. I said, so you don't even know this couple. And you're going to talk them into taking a potential spot that belongs to me. Because if they're not on, then I'm more than likely going to be considered for full-time. My paycheck. I don't care about the full-time status. I've been on enough posters in my life. I wanted that fucking paycheck. That I deserved for helping her through her first seasons as well. And so no, she went to dinner with them, then she went again, and she told me again, and then that's when she and I began to fight after she decided she was going to forgive Dolores for all the things that Dolores said to her when she was fighting with Siggy, her best friend. And they were going to bury the hatchet. And I was like, so basically you bitches are burying the hatchet in my back. So I helped you, and now you're taking away from me my bread and butter. Got it. So she did convince Jackie and Evan. You'll notice that Jackie and Evan began filming before Jennifer. Jennifer had a pushback from her husband, wasn't sure. And unlike Jackie, who had
Really?
Margaret to help her
Jennifer's husband
convince,
looks like he loves it.
he does now. At first, he was very, this is not traditional. This is not something I need to be involved in. We have enough money. But then he was like, you know what? I'll do anything to make you happy. Is he loving it now? Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't know. I don't see anything that's helping his career going on. I really don't. You're a very successful plastic surgeon. Why would you, it's okay to let your wife do this, but why are you partaking so deeply in this? Like it's a disappointment to me. So with that said, Jennifer started later than Jackie because Jennifer's husband wasn't yet convinced. And so Jackie had Margaret to help them be convinced because she had to convince Evan. And Evan was skeptical as well. The husbands are always the ones that push
I was
back.
going to say, is that like a normal thing?
Oh, 100%. And rightfully so. They're supposed to be the logical ones, you know? But in the end, they all cave because they want to do something nice for their wives. And, you know, hopefully they don't make complete fools out of themselves. That's all. Or they don't end up, you know, divorced.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah. That's the show. That's what you actually risk it all.
Yeah, you have to lay it on the line. Let's take one last question, and then I'll let you show off some of your glam. Let's see here. So this is the last one. Let me make sure I pick a good one. Okay, so this is just the last question I see here, and it seems like it happens to be like a question that you get similar questions like this. This particular question says, was the country club fight staged? But you are receiving a lot of these kind of questions, like if a lot of these fights are staged. So could you just elaborate now a little bit?
No, here's what it's staged to me means. Were they aware something big was going to go down and happen to me? Yes. Did they have to really convince me, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, close to threaten to keep my final paycheck until the reunion, which would have meant I would have been paid as opposed to what they were threatening this past season. But they needed me at that scene to make it explosive because they knew something bad was going to happen. And yeah, so for that reason, it was because they knew Kim D had already turned on me so she could be a part of the Jacqueline group. They tried to have my friend Gwen, who was my personal shopper actually, and she called me, and that's why I knew something bad was happening. She's like, they won't let me sit at your table. I told them I've known you for decades longer, but is it okay that I'm here? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I said, honey, I feel so bad for you because they're putting you in the middle. I said, but here's the facts. You're going to be very uncomfortable no matter where you sit, and I can't help you tonight because I know something bad is happening. Something very bad is happening because they need it to happen so they can have their explosive finale scene like they had in season 1. And that's what that was about.
Scripted is very different from staged, I would say. So like no one's actually being told what to say, but you're being put in these situations. It's almost like an experiment. You're being put in like a situation and then you got to fight your way out of it in a way, right?
Yeah, I mean, and as hard as I tried to run, I was being held back by security, and it was just like, you can't hold on to me, let go of me, you know?
That's scary.
So the staging thing, I'd use that word loosely, but yeah, it's definitely a setup.
Interesting. All right, well,
the producers knew that was going to happen to Jackie. If that's what you want to know, Teresa had already told the producers what she was going to do.
I was going to say, I mean, it kind of seems like that. Why else would they keep getting
She didn't
like,
just walk in and like,
her?
have a thought like they're trying to play it off as. It's like, oh, Teresa just went, oh, you know, Evan, that reminds me. She didn't do that. She walked in with a clear intent, and this was set up by her initiating it. And there you go. Every scene is set up by one of the cast suggesting something happen. Unfortunately, I didn't do that often enough because I just believed it wouldn't be right. I didn't think it would look real. And the only time that I did tell a producer something, and that was that Dolores had told me something. And they go, well, can you tell Teresa? And I'm like, Why? And they're like, because we need you to tell Teresa on camera to bring continuity. And I go, okay, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Dolores will be mad at me for telling. So that's how that happened as well. I didn't know I had set that up, but I set myself up. Who did I hurt? Nobody got hurt but me that night.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah,
it's gonna be like really exciting to see
it's
how
going
the
to be
rest
a
of the
great show.
season
We're going to have a lot of
plays
fun
out.
with this.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think the ladies are going to be thankful for me in the end, because really I'm not speaking against them. I'm just speaking the truth about them.
So I don't know
But
if it's
when it comes
true.
to the episodes, I really think that it's helpful to break it down for the
Yeah,
viewers. I'm not here for anybody else.
I did see earlier, and I don't know if it's true, but somebody did mention that Jackie had joined us. I don't know if she's still on, but that's good to know that these girls are checking
Good.
in
Come on
and making
in.
sure. And
Come
maybe
on
one
in.
day we could have one of them
Please come
speak
in.
as well. Maybe get to share one of
Who
their
knows? Maybe they'll
pieces,
even say thank you to me, or maybe not. Maybe they'll make a
or
more of a
sorry.
scene. Who knows? No, I know that she'd be in big trouble with Bravo, so she won't come in.
That's right. Probably not before an episode,
Big
right?
difference between you and I, Jackie, honey.
So, all right. So you'll be able to catch all of these episodes with Danielle and I and some other of our guests on YouTube. Make sure everybody follows the original Danielle Stubb. Follow, like her videos. She's got a lot of cooking videos on there too. Make sure you're checking those out. And then we will keep you posted on where we're going to be going live next week. It will most likely either be Instagram or YouTube, but we'll
That's
make an
right.
announcement.
You can tell I have Yavet. Thank God for him, because right now I suddenly got so busy with my book and I got my podcasting, and we're going to be podcasting tomorrow. Don't forget, absolutely, Danielle will be having a new podcast for you, dropping on each episode for all of my listeners there that like to listen while they're vacuuming, cleaning, working, whatever you're supposed to be doing, and driving. I will not make you come to a different platform. I'm going to bring some of the show to you as well. So we're going to share the love everywhere, because I love anyone and everyone that's been supportive of me, not just now, but throughout the years. And I've been receiving a lot of apologies for misconception of me. And I want to tell you just all with a big blanket, filled with gratitude and love. Thank you so much. And I'm really honored to be able to sit here with all of you and still remain one of your favorites on this platform, because I will always keep it real. Love me or hate me, there's no in between, but you're paying attention when I'm around. So don't miss any of our episodes here on the day after show, when the smoke clears, with Danielle and Yavet and friends.
All right,
Bye,
my love.
everyone. Stay tuned
Bye.
later. I'll be putting up a fashion show for you. Okay?
Bye.
Bye, honey. Let's see here. I'm going to save it.